Fafnir was the son of the dwarf king, Fafnir. He was the great-grandson of the dwarf lord, Goldfinder. He was a master craftsman and had invented a type of iron that would never rust. He was a powerful warrior, and he had fought for the dwarfs in many wars. He was the king of the dwarfs at the time of Bilbo's journey. He was a good friend of Bilbo and Thorin, and they called him Mac because his real name was long and difficult for humans to say. Bilbo was also a master craftsman and he made many useful things, like mithril rings. He was also a master smith who could make mithril weapons that were stronger and sharper than any weapons made before him. He was also a powerful warrior, and he had fought for the elves in many wars. Bilbo and Thorin had been friends since they were children, and they called him Bilbo because his real name was too long for them to say. When Bilbo and Thorin left on their quest to find the treasure of Erebor, they asked Mac Fafnir to make them some swords. They had to be special swords, because the dwarfs had not made anything really good for hundreds of years, since the time of Goldfinder. The swords that Mac Fafnir made were named Nossel and Glamdring, which meant the sword of kings. They were made from mithril and they were the finest swords ever made. They were sharp and light and strong. They were like the swords of the elves, which were made from elf metal, but they were better than the elven swords. Bilbo and Thorin carried their swords on the journey, and they were very useful. They defeated many orcs and goblins and even fought against a dragon, Smaug, who lived in a mountain called Erebor. Bilbo found a magic ring that he used to get back inside Erebor when he was escaping from the dragon. The dwarfs had known about the Ring of Power since ancient times, but they had always kept it hidden. They knew that the elves wanted it, but they did not know how much the elves wanted it. They didn't think that the elves would ever dare to use the ring against them, but they knew that the ring must be destroyed before the elves found it. The dwarves told Bilbo the story of how the ring came to them and why they had stolen it. There had once been a great kingdom that was ruled by men. The king of that kingdom had a great desire to have gold, so he went to a wizard named Dane Ironhand and asked him to make him a magic ring that would make him rich. The wizard made the ring, but it was a ring of power, and it was so powerful that it got into the hands of a Dark Lord, who was much more evil than the king had been. The Dark Lord became ruler of the whole world. The ring turned his heart black, and he became a terrible enemy of mankind. After the Dark Lord died, his sons fought for his kingdom, and one of them killed the other. But both their hearts were turned black by the ring, and both their people hated them and fought against them. So they went away and hid their kingdom where no one else could find it. Then all the kings and rulers of the world gathered to fight against them, and they all failed. One by one they were defeated until the only king left was Sauron, who had made a secret stronghold in the dark hills of Mordor. At last the kings and rulers gave up and went away. Then Sauron came down from Mordor to take over the whole world, and nobody was able to stand against him. But Sauron did not know about the Ring of Power and its power, which had been hidden from him. Bilbo found out about the ring, and he took it from Sauron and put it on his finger. Then he defeated Sauron and sent him back to Mordor in shame. Bilbo was now the master of the ring, but he was not sure what to do with it. He did not want to keep it, because it was dangerous, and he did not want to destroy it, because then he would lose all his power. Then suddenly he had an idea. He thought that maybe the elves would want to have it, because it belonged to them as well as to mankind. He knew that they were afraid of the Dark Lord Sauron, and they would not want him to get the ring, so he decided to give the ring to the elves, in order to help them in their struggle against Sauron. He put on his ring again and rode away.